Okay, we're back again, and I'm going to switch the topic here. Litigation, this is number 14, and what we're going to be looking at is choosing jurors, and what's your best jury selection in these cases. So this is number 14, and this is jury selection, okay? And the problem that we get into on jury selection, there's just a multitude of issues here. One of the things that came up just recently that I thought was very interesting was in the Zimmerman trial, in that murder trial down in Florida, there were only 6 jurors. Now, in a murder case or serious felony in Indiana, there is a requirement that you have 12 jurors in a criminal case. But for all minor felonies and minor misdemeanors, you have to have a 6-person jury. The rules, too, for asking for a jury vary. In a felony case, it's assumed that you're going to have a jury trial, so you don't even have to ask for it. In a misdemeanor case, you do have to ask for it, and in all civil cases, you have to ask for a jury trial. So if you want a jury trial, you better write at the bottom of your complaint, I demand a jury trial, and then sign it. That's very important. Another thing is that there's different kind of jurors that are better for different kind of cases. For example, in an automobile accident, somebody that's a regular person, a citizen, maybe they've had a history of accidents, or someone in their family had an accident where they had to fight with the insurance company to get their money. That would be a good candidate. All too often, though, the insurance attorney is going to try to strike that person off the jury. The person you don't want on that jury, which is just as important as who you do want, would be an insurance adjuster or an insurance salesman. Anybody affiliated with an insurance company or a relative would be a bad person to have on that jury. Now, would a police officer or a police officer's wife be a good person to put on the jury? Sometimes people say yes, sometimes they say no. Yes, because they have some knowledge of the system and how it works. No, because sometimes they're overly analytical and they're too easy to put blame on both parties where they shouldn't. Especially if it's a case like the one you're dealing with in your litigation book where it's a police officer, you wouldn't want another police officer on that jury. So another thing to keep in mind is you have a certain set number of strikes, and that varies depending on the number of jurors. Death penalty case has the largest number, and then it goes down from there. So you only have so many chances to say no. You'll usually get a panel of like 36. If both sides strike, you're probably going to see 12 people taken off the jury because the judge might take some people off for cause, meaning I don't believe in the Constitution, I'm an anarchist, or whatever, the crazy reason. I've got a felony on my record, so they can't serve on a jury. Different things like that. And then the lawyers can just say, I don't like the color of his tie. I want to take him off. Or I notice that the next girl that's coming up that's going to replace that, frumpy old guy that's on the jury is very attractive, and I'd like to look at her for 3 days. Frankly, that was my MO. That's what I used to select jurors, which is a joke. I'm just kidding around. But I have heard of that before, that if we're going to have a jury and we're going to have to look at them for a week, why not get some pretty girls on this jury? That's a story I've heard anyway. So jury selection, it's an art. It's not really a science. Sometimes you think you're getting the right person. Myself, I put a farmer on a jury one time, and I kicked a college professor off because I thought, well, farmer kind of, part of the earth and would be real analytical as far as the average citizen, this type of thing, whereas a professor might have her head in the clouds and, may not be that good. Who knows? But I found out later the foreman came up to me after the jury trial and said, hey, that guy you kept on the jury from the farm, he was very bad because you had a black client, and he called him all kind of names and said, let's find him guilty and just get out of here. So, you got to be careful when it comes to some of that you may misinterpret who some of these people are. Final thing I want to tell you about when you're picking a jury is you get a worksheet from each juror they're supposed to fill out, turn in, and that gives you time over the weekend to look at them and decide, well, do I want this person? It should say on there, yes, I was in a car wreck, yes, I was injured, yes, I had a claim, yes, it was settled, this type thing. Then what will happen is when you get in the jury selection, the lawyer will say, well, were you happy with the outcome of your case? And, stuff like that. So that can be an issue, and you may want to give that, some careful consideration when you're looking at those sheets. So there can be a lot of stuff on there. Yes, my cousin is a lawyer. He works for an insurance company. Yes, my husband is a policeman. He's been a policeman for 30 years. So these are things, you want to look at and carefully consider. Just the way people dress, their demeanor, how they act. Some people act really standoffish, arrogant, that type of thing. I'm like, no, I want more of a people person on my jury, that they can get together and work as a team, So these are all just different things you want to look at. Well, hope you enjoyed this. Hope that you're working away on finishing strong in this class, and thanks for your attention today.